His basement was about this size, and every wall from floor to ceiling was records categorized. He was a scientist. Like, if you open his refrigerator, all the Coke cans were turned the same way. It looked like a graveyard. It was perfect. He was an engineer in school. So there's a lot of mathematical things going around in his mind at all times, but he didn't talk a lot.
JD had this beat machine laying in his basement, and Questlove from the Roots had broken the beat machine. Yo, it started as a dare. He's like, yo, man, if you can get that disc out of there, you can take this machine home and use it. So I took it as a challenge. Like, okay, all right, great, I can get this metal, get this out of it. Took the disc out, and he's like, all right, bet, take it home. I made like about 4 tracks, and I called Dilla and JD. I left him on his voicemail. He called me back, and like immediately, he's like, what was that? I was like, yo, that's some of the stuff I was just messing around with. He's like, whoa.
I wasn't hearing nobody else was making beats like that, you know, with the snappy snares and just the drums and the way he chopped it. So I was like, damn, this shit is dope. And plus, he was from Detroit, so it was like the influence was already there.
One day, like, I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to come up with the words to explain to people what makes, in my eyes, like, him one of the greatest drum programmers of all time. And I know people look at me like, blasphemy. There's Premier, there's Pete Rock, there's, this whole, but I will debate it like it's a presidential debate. I will campaign for that guy till the end of time.
He was programming it, but it just felt live, the swing of it, his time signature on that, the way that he had like the swing percentages on his beats and shit. He was just clean.
JD is a pretty brilliant guy. His stuff is really simple, but one of his brilliant things is sort of the kick he chooses, where he tunes it, and where the bass is in relation to that. And people who mix bottom heavy music, that's 90% of the battle.
Yeah, he was in our world, but it was more like we were in his world, because it was just like, how's he coming and do this so quick? Like, we're sitting here for hours just, chopping, doing all this, and Dilla would just come in and boom, 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 and go back upstairs, and you're like...
And then also looking back on a lot of the early Tribe stuff and De La Soul and a lot of the early hip-hop stuff, from the early 90s, there's a feel that, like, a lot of us, we didn't realise, maybe, like, JD was behind a lot of that stuff. His sound was there, do you know what I mean, from back in the day. And I didn't even know about JD back then, do you know what I mean? But all I know is that music just was reaching out to me.
I keep going back to the one thing about him, about Donuts and him doing that in the hospital on his deathbed, because that speaks volumes into him doing music 10 years before that. That music, okay, then this is a person that's doing music for the sake of doing music.
If you just listen to anything hip-hop, Jay Dilla is the person that you should listen to. His catalog will show you the complete range of what can be done with hip-hop music. Like I've said before, to me, he's sort of the Michael Jordan of hip-hop beat making. Dilla was probably the greatest representation that I could give to someone to be like, this is hip-hop production.
Madlib is my man, yo.
I understand that stuff.
Where's
the record come from?
Yes.
Exactly.
Man, the J-Lib, see, I got to get with Stone's Throw officially, but it was slotted for the first couple weeks in February, because like,
in Europe?
Yes, because they have, do you have the white labels yet out here?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be out.
Digital.
Okay, right. Oh, that one.
Yeah. That shit.
It was like, yeah. It was not. This is what happened. Madlib actually. This is how actually. I gotta explain it.
Okay, come on. Man.
I hooked up with Madlib because I love his work.
How did you do that?
It's like, look, I'm gonna tell you.
Start from the beginning, man.
Yes.
Come on.
I hooked up with Madlib because I love his work. Yeah. Bought his records. When I first heard Lupac, went crazy. Okay, who's this cat?
So.
I worked on my album through MCA. This is about 2 years ago. I actually got in touch with Madlib, flew him out. He laid me like 6 tracks. Ridiculous shit. don't think I got to do vocals like one shit. Like what I was doing for my album was getting all the producers that I love. I wasn't doing none of the beats on my album. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted everybody who I listen to do all the beats just because they expected me to do all the beats. So like I said, I got Madlib, came down to go to the beat the Buster thing. After we hooked up, I found out that Madlib was making demos over beat tapes and CD beats, CDs, things of that nature. I ain't say nothing, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, you know. Then he sent me a copy. It's like he sent me the CD of 12 songs, like vocals, cuts. It was like an album of all JD beats.
In a week, right?
Yes. So I'm like, no, that's impossible. So, you know, I just called him like, you know what I'm saying, don't take this the wrong way, but what's going on? You know, like, then I'm hearing about this white label, 12 inch, this JD beat and you rhyme on it. He's like, oh, you know, yeah, you know, it's all good, you know. I'm like, you my man. Well, I just dropped it and I said, well, look, if we're gonna do it, let's do it official. Let's do an album or something. Let's do an EP. Or let's just mess the industry up. You know what I'm saying? Hook up like that. Really do it. A week later, I sent him some beats. He sent me shit, man. You know, straight. Oh, we laid it.
It's all set.
Just for this album, just so people know. We didn't go in the studio and lay verses and track it down, and it was all straight off a CD, overdub, and straight mixtape. Raw. So everything you hear is straight 2 tracks. You know what I'm saying? And overdub. So it's just raw. That's how it shit's down to me anyway. It's real raw. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of Madlib. So I think it should be good. You know what I'm saying? It's like 20-something cuts. You know what I'm saying?